Hello, I'm Dr. Mandar and I am teaching biology in DM tutorials. And today, 10th standard, we are going to start our first topic, that is absorption by roots. Absorption by roots. For plants, children, absorption is a very important process because they are going to get water from the soil and they're going to get minerals also from the soil. But for absorption, which organ is very necessary for them? The organ which is very necessary for them is the roots. The roots play a very, very important role in absorption from the soil. But roots need three very important characteristics for absorbing water. The first thing is they should have a very large surface area. Children, remember that anything which needs to be absorbed needs always to have a very large surface area. But how will roots get a large surface area? They will get it with the help of structures called root hair. Okay, root hair are very important structures helping in absorption of not only water but also minerals from the soil. The second thing, second requirement for absorption of water is the cell wall, the cell structure. Okay, the roots need to have a very thin layer through which water can easily be entering inside. Remember, children, in plant, the cell will always have two layers. The outermost is the cell wall, and inner to it is the cell membrane. Children, as you have learned in 9th standard, that the cell wall characteristic feature is that it is freely permeable. What do you mean by freely permeable? Freely permeable means water can easily enter as well as solutes can easily enter. Such a membrane is called a freely permeable membrane. The inner membrane is called cell membrane. But children, cell membrane, as we know, is semi-permeable. Now, what do you mean by semi-permeable membrane? Semi-permeable membrane is such a membrane which allows the entry of solvent, that is water, but does not allow the entry of solutes. So that's called a semi-permeable membrane. So the second characteristic is the thin wall of the roots through which easily water can enter. Now the third and a very important characteristic. Remember, children, the root has got a vacuole. Okay, the root has got a vacuole and the vacuole contains cell sap. What is this cell sap? Cell sap is the water which is the water in the vacuole along with the minerals. Now you might wonder that should this cell sap be concentrated or dilute? The answer is the cell sap of the vacuole in the root hair should be very concentrated. Always remember, the cell sap in the vacuole is very concentrated. Why? So that it can easily allow the enter of water by osmosis. Osmosis, remember children, is a process by which water molecules are moving from a region of their higher concentration to a region of their lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, so for osmosis to occur, you need to have the vacuole containing a very high concentration. So I will repeat the definition of osmosis, children. It's a very important definition in your exam. Movement of water molecules, remember only water molecules, from a region of their higher concentration to a region of their lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. This is osmosis. Children, remember the definition of osmosis is a very important definition in your exam. So you need to know this. If you want to say this in simpler terms or in another way, you can say movement of water molecules from a more dilute solution to a less dilute solution through a semi-permeable membrane. You have to mention semi-permeable membrane word in the definition of osmosis. Okay, so these are the important characteristics for roots for absorption of water. Now we are going to do some terms, some definitions which are going to be very useful for us in the exams as well as for understanding. The first definition, which is a very common definition in bio, I'm sure most of you all might know about it, and it is called diffusion. Okay, We've heard this so many times, diffusion. What is diffusion? Suppose I go and spray perfume at one corner of the room and I'm sitting here at the other opposite corner of the room. Will I be able to smell the perfume? Answer is yes. But the perfume has been sprayed in one corner of the room. How can I, who are standing in the other corner, be able to smell it? I can smell it because the concentration of the perfume molecules, which are chemicals, okay, it's a chemical, and the chemicals will move from a region of their higher concentration to a region of their lower concentration when there is no membrane involved, when they are in direct contact. There's no membrane here. Okay, so remember children about diffusion. Diffusion is movement of any substance, solid, liquid, gas, chemical, any substance from a region of its higher concentration to a region of its lower concentration when there is no membrane involved in between. Okay, when they're in direct contact. We studied in 9th standard regarding diffusion of gases from the alveoli into from the alveoli of the lungs into the blood, from the blood into the alveoli. Okay, so diffusion is very important structure for us. It's a very important process for us. Okay, so that's about diffusion. Now there is a new term which you must have not studied before, and it's called imbibition. Okay, if I go and stand in the rain for some time, will I swell? Will my body swell? No, it won't swell. But in case of plants, okay, when they are drenched in the rain, you see the bark swells. Children, you must have noticed many times, especially in wooden doors in the rainy season where there's a lot of watery or moisture in the air, especially in the rainy season, that the wooden doors swell and you cannot close it or open it. You find it difficult. What's the reason? This is the reason. The reason is imbibition. Children, why I will not swell? Because I don't have a cell wall. I don't have a cell wall. I don't have cellulose in my cell. And the cellulose of plant cell is hydrophilic. Cellulose is hydrophilic. What do you mean by hydrophilic? Hydro means water, philic means attraction. Cellulose is going to attract water and therefore it's going to swell. So children, imbibition is absorption of water by living or dead organisms. Osmosis, remember children, will occur only in living organisms. Okay, but imbibition is going to occur in living or dead plant cells. It is absorption of water due to surface attraction. It is going to be due to surface attraction. Very similar to the process of adsorption which you studied in chemistry. Yes, this is absorption of water due to surface attraction. Children, when you write this in the exams, you have to mention the word surface attraction. In biology definitions, these words, these keywords are very important in your definitions. So when you write imbibition, you have to mention surface attraction. I've already told you regarding osmosis. Okay, so these key definitions, please remember, and I hope you've understood these definitions properly. Thank you so much. Okay, so we've done osmosis. Okay, I've already told you that osmosis is a very important definition. Not only is it an important definition, but it is a very important concept. And on the basis of this concept, we are going to learn new concepts. Okay, we are going to learn something called endosmosis and exosmosis. If I take water in a glass and if I take 3-4 spoons of salt, okay, and if I put it in that, I take another glass of water and I just put a pinch of salt. Are both of them solutions? Yes, both of them are solutions. In one solution, there is lot of water and less of salt. In the other solution, there is lot of salt and less of water. Comparatively, these are comparative. Both of them are salt solutions, children. But I'm just comparing. Relatively, I'm saying. Okay, so now we need to study something about the different types of solutions in order to understand endosmosis and exosmosis. So what are the 3 kinds of solutions which we'll study? For that, let me show you in a diagrammatic manner. Children, I take water which has a lot of salt solution in it, and I put a cell in it. This is just an arbitrary cell. I put a cell in it, okay, which has got a cell membrane. Compared to the content inside the cell, compared, remember children, I'm always saying compared. You might look at this and you might wonder there's so much of water outside, but I'm talking qualitatively. I'm talking in respect to concentration, not in respect to quantity. So children, please pay attention. I have put this cell in a solution which compared to its inner content has lot of salt outside or solute outside. So a solution children, in which the outer part, okay, compared to the inner content, the outer part has lot of solute content outside, when the concentration of solutes outside the cell is far more than what is inside the cell. Such a solution children is called a hypertonic solution. A solution which has more concentration of solutes outside the cell is called a hypertonic solution. And I have put the cell in it. What do you think, children? Will the cell shrink or will it swell? If you say shrink, why shrink? And if you say swell, why swell? Think for a minute. Children, think for a minute. Think in your mind, and what do you think will be the answer? I will tell you the answer. The cell will shrink. Now you might wonder why. You might wonder why the cell is shrinking, why not swelling, or why not just as it is. I'll tell you why. Children, we did the definition of osmosis. And in the definition of osmosis, we studied movement of water molecules from their higher concentration to their lower concentration. Children, the moment I have told you this is a hypertonic solution, it is understood that there is more solute outside. The moment I tell you there is more solute outside, where is more water? Yes, more water is inside the cell. Now there are children who get confused. You say, oh my god, so you see so much water around it. No, again children, this is with respect to concentration, not with respect to quantity. So the moment I tell you there is a hypertonic solution outside, that means there is more water inside. So water, according to the definition of osmosis, will move from its higher concentration to its lower concentration, okay, through this semi-permeable membrane. And this is outward, as you can see the arrow, children. As you can see the arrow, it is moving outward. And this outward movement of water molecules, exo means outside. It is moving by osmosis, so it is called. Is it clear? Since it is moving outside, it is exosmosis. Now the cell has shrunk, isn't it? The cell has got shrunken. It's got in a shrunken state now because water has moved outside. Children, the phenomena, please mark my words, the phenomena of shrinkage of the cell due to exosmosis when placed in a hypertonic solution. Children, I'm repeating the definition. The phenomena of shrinkage of cell when it is placed in a hypertonic solution is called, this is a very important definition, children. You have to mention hypertonic solution in this. It's called plasmolysis. It's called what? Plasmolysis. Okay? This is a phenomena. But what is the state of the cell when it is shrunken? The state of the cell when it has got very less water, it is in a shrunken state. Such a state of the cell is called flaccid. Children, I told you three things. Let us do a recap. I told you the outward, first I just showed you the direction. I told you the outward movement of water molecules when placed in a hypertonic solution is called exosmosis. The outward movement, I'm talking about direction now. In the second case, I told you the phenomena of shrinkage of cells. I've used the word phenomena, the process or the phenomena of shrinkage of cell when I placed it in a hypertonic solution is called plasmolysis. And in the third definition, I told you the state, mark the words children, the state of the cell when it is in a shrunken state, shrunken condition is called flaccid. The condition is flaccidity and the state is flaccid. Okay, so now this cell looks big enough, it will become shrunken like this. Okay, so I hope you've understood these three definitions. Now we will go to the reverse definition. Let me see. So this is become very shrunken. Now I take this cell and I put it in a solution called hypotonic. First we did hypertonic. Now we are going to do hypotonic. Let's see what happens. So I've taken a shrunken cell, I've put it in a hypotonic solution. Children, I told you hypertonic solution last time. No, it's a hypotonic solution. A hypotonic solution is a solution in which the outer part or the solution has more concentration of water molecules outside the cell. In the first case, what did we see, children? We saw there was more concentration of solute molecules. In the second condition, children, hypotonic, there is more concentration of water molecules. Now children, you think and tell me what is going to happen to this cell. Will it swell or will it shrink further? Yes. Now you know that it will swell because on the outer part there is more concentration of water molecules. So water molecules will move from a region of their higher concentration to their lower concentration by osmosis. Since water molecules are moving inside, this process is called endosmosis. Okay, it's moving inside, children. There it was exosmosis. Now it's moving inside. It is moving out there. Now it's moving in here. So it's endosmosis. And have I reversed plasmolysis? Yes. There it was a phenomenon of shrinkage. Now it is swollen. So I've reversed plasmolysis. And this reversal of plasmolysis, children, is called deplasmolysis. Is it swollen or is it shrunken now? Think, children, think. Is it swollen or is it shrunken? Yes, water is moved inside, so it's going to swell. So the swollen or the state of the cell when it is stretched and cannot accommodate any more water is called turgid. So the state is turgid, the phenomena is deplasmolysis, and the direction, the inward movement, there exosmosis, here endosmosis. There plasmolysis, here deplasmolysis. There flaccid, here turgid. And there which was the solution? There it was hypertonic solution. Here it is hypotonic solution. So children, I hope you've understood the definition. Just don't go to learn them. Just don't go to rote or by heart them. I hope you've understood why it moves, not just it moves. You need to understand biology. Okay? Now I just want to tell you that please, when you open the concise textbook or when you open your bio textbook, whichever textbook you are using, please read these definitions very thoroughly, especially keywords. I want you to practice the diagram of root hair. I want you to see the structure of a plasmolysed cell as well as a deplasmolysed cell. Okay, and I want you to practice the questions behind in your textbook after the chapter. Okay, I hope you've understood this. Thank you so much.